Welcome to the second in a series of 4 screencasts on the prevention of food waste in the hospitality and food service sector. I'm Catherine Timms, working on the Hospitality and Food Service Agreement on behalf of WRAP in Northern Ireland. In this screencast, I'll be introducing some simple action businesses can take to identify and realise the cost savings potential from preventing food waste. This screencast will last about 15 minutes. WRAP's extensive sector-wide research shows that each tonne of food waste will typically cost a business somewhere between £1,700 and £4,000, with the average cost of food waste in the hospitality and food service sector being £2,800 per tonne. So it is clear that there is significant potential for making cost savings. To work out what potential savings a business can make, it is important to know how much waste is being produced during day-to-day operations. So this screencast focuses on undertaking a food waste review to understand how much food is being wasted and the waste produced at each operational stage, and measuring and monitoring food waste and using this data to identify the best opportunities to take action and make cost savings. WRAP's experience of working with businesses proves that undertaking a food waste review can achieve substantial efficiencies, significant cost savings, and staff engagement in monitoring food waste and food consumption patterns. The results can be used to set targets for food waste reduction and develop initiatives to prevent food waste. An initial food waste review can show a business how much they are currently wasting. The data can then be used to identify practical actions that will lead to waste reduction and cost savings. Undertaking regular food waste reviews can highlight new opportunities to make savings as catering operations change over time. It is a simple and practical process which can be integrated into the operations of a busy kitchen, and all staff, managers, chefs, kitchen porters and waiters can easily participate. The review should take place over a typical business period that includes busy times such as weekends. Waste content and volume may also change with the seasons, so the review should be repeated at regular intervals. For the food waste review to be effective, all staff involved in the day-to-day catering operations must be made aware of what the business is planning to achieve and what needs to be done. So it's important for staff communications to take place at the outset and ensure all kitchen and waiting staff understand what their roles are and how their actions can contribute towards preventing waste. Their contribution will increase when they understand the benefits of the changes being made and are made to feel part of it. It's also good to appoint a waste monitor to ensure that food waste is being separated, weighed and recorded correctly. So let's take a look at how mapping food waste can build a picture of where, when and why waste is generated. To measure how much is being produced, the first step is to segregate the food waste into 3 waste streams. Waste bins will be needed to collect spoilage waste from purchasing and storage, kitchen preparation waste, and customer plate waste, the leftovers. Some caterers may only need spoilage and prep waste bins if they don't actually have any eating customers on site, for example caterers. Using clearly labelled coloured bins makes it easy for staff to identify what type of waste they should be putting in each bin. In this example, yellow bins are used to collect waste from spoilage, blue to collect preparation waste, and black to collect customer plate waste. The objective is to measure the different waste streams by weighing or counting the number of bins produced. Food waste can be heavy, so it's worth using a container that can be lifted easily and safely. Kitchens are busy places, so another important factor in helping staff to put the right waste from the different catering stages in the right container is to position them in the most practical location according to the layout of operations. Depending on the amount of space available or the size of the establishment, it might be the case that more than one bin is needed to collect the same type of waste. Clear labels or posters will also be needed to provide instructions for staff, and these should be in easy view in all food preparation and disposal areas. Food waste typically arises from spoilage during storage, during meal preparation, and customer plate waste. WRAP's research shows that the amount of each type of waste currently being generated is significant, but there is plenty of scope to reduce it. The amount of waste being generated on the customer plate is approximately 312,000 tonnes per year. That's equivalent to about £875 million each year, which simply isn't good business sense. Businesses may be surprised by how much money they are throwing in the bin each week. So what do I mean when I talk about spoilage? Spoilage is anything from the kitchen that has gone off or has been contaminated and is unusable. This includes items such as melted butter or mouldy bread. Most fresh produce, like fruit and vegetables, spoil or degrade over time, so it's important that stock is not over-ordered and only the quantities required are purchased, and that deliveries of fresh produce are frequent enough. Food orders from fresh ingredient suppliers may also contain spoiled or damaged items, or some may not be as fresh as required and may spoil more quickly. It's always worth checking over the full order before accepting it. Spoilage can also occur from ingredients not being stored correctly, and perhaps from poor packaging and cross-contamination, or storing at the incorrect temperature and humidity. If there is a poor stock control process in place, then ingredients may be binned before they've passed their use-by dates. Preparation waste is any leftover foodstuff that is wasted as part of the preparation of customer meals. Some of it will be unavoidable, such as eggshells or banana skins. But even so, it is useful to record this information for future plans to dispose of food waste via composting and/or anaerobic digestion. Meals cooked for customers that don't get served, such as leftover carvery at the end of service, also contribute to preparation waste. Prep waste is also any food spoiled during preparation, such as burnt toast. It typically includes meat and fish trimmings and vegetable peelings. There are many examples of where these trimmings can be used as ingredients for other meals. Opportunities that can make the most of preparation waste will be looked at in more detail in Screencast 3. Customer plate waste is the food that customers haven't eaten, and it's usually a consequence of either the portion size being too large or because it's something they don't like. Meals that are returned by the customer untouched also contribute to customer plate waste. This might be because the meal served did not match what the customer ordered or their expectations. Food waste data will need to be collected over a suitable period of time to give a true reflection of the business practices. This will largely depend on the size of the catering operation. Often, recording the number of waste containers filled in a full day is appropriate, or it may be more practical to measure the waste over a shift pattern. The measurements will need to be repeated daily over several weeks so that the impact of ingredients coming out of storage and any menu changes can be captured. Measuring the amount of food waste produced over 2 weeks also enables data to be captured on quieter and busier days. Bins can be weighed using a simple set of weighing scales. Luggage or fishing scales can also be obtained cheaply and are ideal for this exercise. To help record the amount of food waste being generated, WRAP has developed a handy waste tracking sheet which can be downloaded from the WRAP Online Resource Centre. The tracking sheet is structured so that the waste can be recorded by either weight, kilograms, or in volumes, litres, and it provides the necessary volume to weight conversion factors to make it easy to convert between the two. The results of these measurements will give the starting point, or the baseline, and it's this baseline that provides the basis against which the impact of changes in day-to-day practices can be compared. Keeping a record of these results will enable a business to compare equivalent data from future reviews so it can monitor progress. To ensure like-for-like waste data is compared, the data will need to be normalised, and this can be done by dividing the quantity of waste by the number of covers or meals served. This is key to working out what waste and cost savings have been made, and is useful for setting meaningful key performance indicators, or KPIs for short. As part of the measurements, it's useful to monitor what type of food is returned on the customer plate. If there is a large amount of a particular meal being returned, it could indicate that the portion size is not quite right, or there is a particular issue with it. Waiting staff may have picked up some customer feedback and might be able to help determine the reason why it was uneaten. It might even indicate that the menu design needs to be revisited. An example of returned plate waste is salad garnishes. These are commonly served but often not eaten. An opportunity here may be that the garnish is replaced with an offer of a separate order of side salad. A record of what is being returned can be maintained by noting down each type of food as it's returned. Listing each of the dishes and recording a notch or mark every time a particular food type is returned is a quick and easy way of doing this. This type of record is simple for staff to complete in a busy environment. The results from the food waste measurements will show how much waste is being generated at each of the operational stages. They will help to determine what should be tackled as a priority and how much a business can realistically expect to save if they change specific practices. For example, if the spoilage rate is high, is the stock over-ordered? Are deliveries frequent enough? Can the stock control system be improved? During preparation, is food being overproduced or spoilt, burnt? If a lot of plate waste is being returned by customers, can the portion sizes be adjusted for different types of customers? Are there any issues with certain types of meals? And if so, can waiting staff provide any insight into the likely issues? Looking at the underlying causes as to why the waste is being generated will help to identify the opportunities for preventing it. Elior, a leading contract caterer, has benefited from undertaking a food waste review. They found the approach very straightforward to implement, and staff put waste into separate bin bags throughout the day. They initially had a system in place to monitor food wastage, but it recorded waste by cost rather than by weight. By switching to weighing the waste, Elior found more waste was being produced than they had realised. Improving its monitoring system helped Elior to identify where most food waste was occurring and consequently the opportunities for prevention. For example, it became obvious that food preparation techniques could be adjusted to improve efficiency. As a result, the chef manager organised a training session to demonstrate the correct way to prepare fruit and vegetables for minimum wastage. Staff were keen to participate, and they suggested menu ideas that could make use of items that were previously underutilised, such as cooking parsnip peelings to make soup. Staff found the use of clear bags during an initial monitoring trial particularly useful when separating food waste, as this allowed them to see the volumes produced and exactly what went into the bags. This made an enormous difference to their awareness of what food was being wasted. They also learnt that some of the items being disposed of during preparation could be used in other dishes. As part of Elior's menu planning and stock control, they consider what's in season and substitute menu items when they are likely to be expensive or difficult to source. So, for example, when a drought affected cauliflower yields, they replaced them with broccoli. To help prevent customer plate waste, Elior also posted signs in staff canteens to raise awareness of food waste. As we are approaching the end of the screencast, I want to provide you with a few web links for some of the free online support and advice that you can find on our website. These suggest some quick and easy ways of cutting down on food waste costs. The Online Resource Centre offers some simple top tips on preventing waste within the operations of a typical commercial kitchen. And the Hospitality and Food Service Info Finder holds a wealth of practical and proven advice and supporting guidance. Essentially, it's a search and find tool which allows users to find the information most relevant to them. So whether a restaurant wants to learn more about cutting waste from the customer plate, or a hotel wants to see what others are doing, this is the place to look. And if businesses are thinking about recycling food waste, we've got the Food Waste Recycling website with information, advice and tools to help them make it work. Well, that brings us to the end of Screencast 2. Now that you've seen where food waste arises and how food waste can be measured and tracked, I encourage you to view the next screencast in the series, Screencast 3, which shares some more great examples of how businesses are making changes to prevent and reduce food waste and how this is translating into real cost savings. Don't forget, any business can sign up to the Hospitality and Food Service Agreement. Thank you for listening. Please don't hesitate to get in touch by emailing hafs@wrap.org.uk if you'd like to find out more. Goodbye for now.